After 14 years since the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator 10, it's finally here, Flight Simulator 11. Or is it 2020? No? Oh, I see. Okay. They just called it Flight Simulator. Anyways, released on August 18th, 2020, Flight Simulator is the latest release in one of the oldest Microsoft product lines. That's right, Flight Simulator is older than Windows, first being released in 1982. Developed by the French Azobo Studios, best known for the open-world racing game Fuel, Flight Simulator is a simulation of flight. Given the age of the series, if you've ever been exposed to any kind of simulation software product, you've probably heard of Flight Simulator. The concept is devilishly simple. You fly planes. But underneath that is one of the most complex simulation models available to consumers, and with each and every release, it only gets more and more advanced. In a previous review of mine, I called Flight Simulator 10 one of the most influential simulation games of our time, setting the standard in so many ways. But that was 14 years ago, and a lot has changed while Microsoft has been away. 2006 was a long time ago. Sony and Microsoft just released their groundbreaking consoles, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Neopets was still a thing, and a little-known game called The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion was released to critical acclaim. And while Microsoft stepped away from simulation games since that time, others stepped in to push the bar higher and higher, notably X-Plane 11. So how does Microsoft Flight Simulator fare against its storied past and its modern competition? Let's take off to find out. After installing the game, your journey begins at the main menu, where you're given the choice of viewing the world map, participating in an online ranked challenge, guided flying lessons, partaking in single-player activities and challenges, as well as viewing boring announcements from Microsoft. The world map is where you'll configure your flight, selecting a departing location and optional destination, choosing your aircraft, and configuring the many parameters for weather and time. And this is where you'll get a first glimpse to the massive scale of Flight Simulator. When zoomed out, all of these white dots represent airports or landmarks, and like the previous games in the series, you've got the entire world to play with. All of it. Once you've chosen your departing location, you're ready to fly. Increase the throttle to full power, get up to speed, gently pull back on the yoke, and welcome to the world of flight simulation. Yeah, let me tell you, the first time I flew around Vancouver, or my hometown of Coldstream, seeing buildings that I am so intimately familiar with being rendered in a video game is beyond surreal. Leveraging the existing satellite map data from Bing Maps, Microsoft and Azobo partnered with Black Shark Artificial Intelligence to develop a solution where the game world can be generated automatically. Buildings are transformed into 3D models, virtual cars drive along real roadways, bodies of water are properly recognized and have effects applied to them. All of this across the entire planet. Now, this might not look very impressive when compared to the handcrafted maps seen in other games, but consider that, again, we're dealing with all of Earth. But also consider that this is what the last Flight Simulator looked like. Talk about a huge improvement. When looking at the world map, you'll often see these locations with a yellow star. These denote a location where extra attention has been given to the scenery and often contain human-crafted building models for landmarks. These landmarks will also show up as a point of interest as you fly around, making it easy to quickly find your way to that one famous place you've just been dying to go see. But I mean, who really wants to go on a vacation right now? I mean, have you seen those numbers? And I mean, who wants to wear a mask for like 6 hours stuck on economy? Am I right? And it's not just graphical improvements to the world either. Planes now have significantly more detailed flight decks, with certain planes having interactive multifunction displays. Switches, toggles, levers, and pulleys can often be directly interacted with using the mouse, and hovering over the controls will indicate what it is with a tooltip. Performance-wise, the game runs well enough on modern hardware. However, there are notable times when the frame rate drops to the low teens as map data is being streamed in from the servers. Oh right, yeah, that. See, unlike in prior games where you install all of the map data to your system, the new Flight Simulator streams that data in from Microsoft-provided servers. You can configure a size and location for a cache of this map data in the game's settings, and I totally recommend increasing the cache size if you're a serious player. This practice of games as a service raises some interesting questions, such as how long will Microsoft keep these servers running, and what will happen if they decide to shut them down? This model also brought about a problem for people who bought the game on Steam, as Valve won't give you a refund if you've played the game for more than 2 hours. But for nearly all players, myself included, those first 2 hours will be spent downloading and populating that cache. This takes away your ability to try the game out, but refunding it later if you want. Another new feature is the inclusion of voiced and interactive air traffic control, or ATC, something notably absent from prior games outside of multiplayer. These virtual tower crews control your movements on the ground and as you depart or approach the airport. You get an almost RPG-like conversation system where you choose from a list of options, or you can just let the computer take care of all of that for you.
Tower Dare Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha, continue for north departure.
For input, Flight Simulator sticks to its guns with 3 main options: keyboard and mouse, a controller, and a joystick. Unfortunately, I don't have a full HOTAS setup, let alone any kind of joystick, so I've been playing with a wired controller. Flying a plane, especially a large jet, isn't straightforward, but Flight Simulator does a really great job making the most important controls easy to access with the limited buttons of a controller by having some buttons pull double duty. Kind of like with the Control or Alt key on your keyboard, certain controller buttons perform different tasks when a face button is pressed down. Annoyingly, however, the rudder controls don't work great with a controller, and I'm not sure if it's a misconfigured setting or a bug, but I am just barely pressing on the left trigger and my tail end is all over the place. One thing I'm sorely missing from previous games that came as a physical release is a quick reference card showing the most frequently used controls. I found myself writing these down in a notepad instead, but I guess that's the price you pay for a digital distribution. Not that there isn't a physical release though. Aerosoft is publishing a 10 DVD box set of the game, however only available in the European markets. Of course, one of the most important features of Flight Simulator that was really highlighted on in the last release was accessibility to all, even those with little to no flying experience. Microsoft has expanded on the realism options, providing 3 templates to choose from based on your skill level, letting you further tweak these individual settings as needed. But be warned, however, as these can lead to some interesting results. Flight Simulator comes in 3 flavors, each with an increasing number of handcrafted airports and aircrafts. The base edition comes with a total of 20 aircraft to choose from, with an additional 5 from the 2 higher tiers of the game. While the detail and quality of the aircrafts are superb, especially when compared to the older versions, I am disappointed in how the majority of available aircraft are propeller-based, with only 5 jet engine-based aircrafts. Helicopters are also missing, something that was present in the past games. At first I was disappointed by the number of available aircraft. However, after going back to Flight Simulator 10, I realized that you're actually getting around the same number, if not more, depending on the game version. Of course, it's not like you're limited to the options that are included with the game, not at all. A hallmark of Flight Simulator series is its massive modding community. From the main menu, you can access the marketplace where you can purchase extra airports and aircraft, eventually, from Microsoft or third-party sellers, something I'm sure I'll use in the future. I'm sure that Microsoft took cues from other simulation games like Train Simulator and saw that people are more than happy to purchase individual aircrafts or airports to build up a collection, kind of like a model train set. There's just so much more I could talk about with Flight Simulator. Things like real-time weather patterns, lifelike turbulence simulation, live air traffic from real planes, failure simulation, the list goes on. Flight Simulator is something so truly unique that no other game, not even other flight simulators, have been able to replicate. The incredible attention to detail and accuracy in the game shows a level of passion from the team behind it that isn't often seen elsewhere. How many other games can come from a simple polygonal software for IBM PCs and Apple II computers to one of the most impressive simulations of flight, earth, and weather? Flight Simulator is a triumph of computer software, and I am so glad that I got to be a part of it. Thanks for watching.